Why does the right hate the Odyssey by Christopher Nolan? Well, because it was written by a woman. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you haven't already, please sign up to my school community, the 7 Habits for Winning at Life. In there you get access to the wonderful Stress Mastery Toolkit, and please add to the conversation. So what do I mean by the Odyssey was written by a woman? Well, Christopher Nolan, who's been accused of being woke and writing the Odyssey in a woke fashion, doesn't really have much access to the internet and the manosphere and the red pill and basically all the talking points that people are stuck in when they're in their echo chambers. But what he does rely on, and especially in the case of the Odyssey, he said his main inspiration was a version of the Odyssey that was a direct translation from the original Greek to English by a woman named Emily Wilson. She received plenty of backlash from her version of the book, which is simply one that hasn't been fictionalized the way most translations are done, and she's the only woman to actually translate it in English, and a lot of people just accused her of having a feminist view when she wrote the book instead of for the translation, as opposed to being a more accurate translation. And so that is really upsetting the manosphere and conservatives alike, because they've always expressed victimization and the gynocentric social order that we encounter today, and that feminism is what's ruining society, and they don't have a voice. And what this is supposedly doing is rewriting history, a 3,000-year-old story that was told by a man, and that if a woman translated it, then obviously it's going to have some elements of feminism to it, or tainting of the story, so to speak. And that's the essential reason why everyone who's conservative tends to mock the movie and talk about such things like having a black actress, because that's not true to the original, which the original is fiction anyway, and it's the character is born from an egg. So I mean, I guess only white women get born from eggs and black women don't get born from eggs or something. I don't know, I'm not sure. But attacking different points that don't really make too much sense is kind of the whole idea, because in their mind this version is a corrupted version and it's trying to rewrite history, so to speak. And that's why it's not very favorable. One of the reasons that got a lot of attention is because there was a picture that Zendaya posted holding the copy of the Odyssey by Emily Wilson, and that drew a lot of attention. And an interesting note that I want to talk about is that that picture originated from a bookstore in Danville. And in the late 90s, I worked in Danville, or close to there, San Ramon or Alamo, close by anyway. And so often we'd have lunch neighboring cities. And this one time I happened to take my Maserati to work, which, if you know anything about the history of Maserati, they have a reputation for not being the most reliable and being very expensive. Well, of course, it broke down in Danville. If you know the area, it's an expensive luxury area. I mean, it's like breaking down in a Maserati in Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. It's just, I thought there was no way I'd ever see that car again, because I could never afford to have it fixed. And it was at a gas station, and as it turned out, they said, yeah, the labor isn't going to be that expensive, but the part. And luckily, back in the day, in the 90s, before social media and the internet, I was an avid collector of price lists, and there was a place, I think it was in Seattle, that had all the parts for Maserati, and they were actual Maserati parts for a ridiculously low price, because I paid my self-addressed stamped envelope and sent it to them and got their price list. And I was able to get a clutch disc, which is the part that they needed, from them for, it was like $100 at the time, which was more than average for maybe a Ford, but it wasn't that expensive in terms of the car, and I was able to get the car fixed for a decent price and drive it home, thank God. But it was kind of interesting that Danville reminded me of that incident that happened in the 90s. So yeah, that's about it for this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.